Hello everyone and welcome to my General Hospital Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Cyrus attacks, Carly and Brennan derailed, and GH emergency chaos. According to General Hospital spoilers for the upcoming 2 weeks, February 17th to 28th, Cyrus Renault will choose his next victim before an emergency causes havoc at GH. Here's what fans may anticipate from Jason Morgan's catastrophic decision. Carly Spencer is going to question Sonny Corinthos throughout the week of February 17th to 21st. Carly will be left wondering if there is another reason why Sonny compromised with Ava Jerome after reading his custody updates. We'll see if Sonny tells Carly or keeps things to himself despite having a heart problem that requires surgery. As they get closer, Jack Brennan will later offer Carly Spencer some Valentine's Day roses, but an unexpected intrusion will ruin their evening. Jocelyn Jacks and the perilous path he's luring her down may be connected to Brennan's eventual attempt to repair some of the harm he's inflicted. Conversely, Maxie Jones will portray Cupid, so she can encourage Lulu Spencer and Dante Falconeri to spend more time together. As they commemorate Valentine's Day, Harrison Chase will also make a spectacular gesture for Brooke Lynn Quartermaine. Since Brooke Lynn is going to find the strength to come honest about her adoptive child, it might increase her remorse and persuade her to do so. A Valentine's Day bonding activity will also help Kai Taylor and Trina Robinson deepen their relationship. There will be some unexpected turns that will make for an unforgettable evening. There is a chance of another run-in and some risk because Cyrus gave Kai a menacing look when they met at Charlie's pub. GH spoilers state that Trina will be Kai's fallback when things go rough. But since Cyrus has been spying on Elizabeth Baldwin and is keen to get rid of her for good, he might turn his attention to her. Cyrus may become even more enraged once Liz and Lucky Spencer provide the police with their findings. Is Lucky going to help Liz and end up hurting himself in the process? There will be some shocking news for Lulu and Laura Collins, which may indicate that Lucky is in danger. It is also important to remember that the preview information for 2025 suggested that Elizabeth would entrust her life to Lucky. When mayhem breaks out at GH, Isaiah Gannon and Portia Robinson will strive feverishly to save someone. Because of Cyrus' move, Lucky might wind up fighting for their life. When he returns to Jason, he will finally make a big decision. Given that he can't allow Cyrus to claim any more victims, Jason might decide to kill him in spite of all the warnings. Before engaging in another tense altercation with Jason, Drew Quartermaine will square off against Curtis Ashford once more. If Drew isn't careful, he might become naughty enough to reveal a darker side of himself to Willow. Could Sasha tell Maxie who really fathered her child since she will confess to someone else? Sasha may confess that Michael is the person she hooked up with because Maxie has been bugging her enough. There will inevitably be more issues, but Sasha and Jason's paternity ruse should continue with the rest of Port Charles. Cyrus might reach the end of the road during the week of February 24th to 28th. Will Jason remove Cyrus, or might someone else permanently shut him down? Given that there are clues of Jocelyn's reckless choice in the upcoming episodes, she might have an impact on Cyrus's future. Joss is determined to bring Dex Heller justice. Naturally, it would be wise for the show to provide a whodunit and keep viewers guessing for a time as to who took Cyrus out. In any event, our forecast suggests that Cyrus' terrible destiny might be unavoidable. According to General Hospital spoilers, there will be a lot of action over the next 2 weeks, so pay attention. Nina persuaded Carly to cooperate with her in order to prevent Drew from influencing Willow. All over Port Charles, Cyrus lurked. When Jason arrived, Cody lost it and yelled at him to acknowledge that he was the father of Sasha's child. Despite Felicia's best efforts to defuse the situation, Jocelyn confused the villain by apologizing to Cyrus. Colette handed Joss a Brennan paper that contained the address of a house Austin had purchased prior to his murder. Avery was nearly abducted by Ava from the park, but Rick stepped in just in time. Sidwell suggested Pier 55 as the proposed location for the Esplanade after meeting with Jordan and Curtis. Kai was invited by Emma to attend her fundraiser. Sonny discovered that although he does not require a pacemaker, he still needs surgery to repair the damage to his heart. Jordan was cautioned by Curtis to avoid Sidwell. Jason consented to pose as Sasha's baby's father. Cyrus placed a hand on Danny's shoulder when Danny challenged him at Charlie's pub. When Jason arrived, He screamed at Cyrus to remove his hand and threatened to hide his body if he approached Danny ever again. Lucky informed Liz that since the walls were closing in on the villain, they had to present their evidence against Cyrus to the police immediately. Lulu did a dreadful job helping out at Bobby's. Joss ended up being arrested for her own good after being taken into the police station to be questioned. Tracy insisted that Willow return Lila's wedding band. Willow consented to Martin gathering information about Michael. Danny was sworn to silence after Jason and Sasha told him about their charade. Molly and Cody were locked out on the roof of the General Hospital. Sasha let the PI's dog, Mavis, to run loose and search the woman's purse after realizing that Martin's PI, Elaine, was using her to obtain information about Michael. A road accident was heard as Elaine chased after the dog. Sonny informed Jason that they needed to use the 3 months before his surgery to figure out who blew up his apartment. Ava and Rick practiced their strategy for her custody battle. Jason threatened Cyrus, so Anna arrested him. In the end, they decided on 50-50 time with Avery when Sonny expressed his desire to return to their previous joint custody arrangement. Alexis told Jason that although she too wanted Cyrus killed, she didn't want Jason to carry out her wish since Danny would feel guilty. In order to let Isaiah and Lucas know that he and Molly needed assistance in the bitter weather, Cody threw his pants off the General Hospital roof. Although Elaine was not seriously hurt, she acknowledged that she was a PI and informed Sasha that someone was investigating her. It came to light that Sidwell and Natalia had previously been wed. According to General Hospital News, many fans are left wondering the same thing about Emmy Rylan. Has she given up acting? Now what is she doing? For all the information you require, continue reading below. General Hospital News. Emmy Rylan's reason for leaving acting? Emmy was undoubtedly a favorite among the fans when she was on General Hospital, but it appears that she has put acting on hold for the time being. This is because, as a stay-at-home mother, she is more concerned with raising her family. In addition to it, she enjoys crocheting. Emmy's most recent appearance on the show was in 2020. The actress also stated that she had no plans to return to General Hospital, despite the fact that many fans were hoping she would. But that being said, Emmy made it quite apparent in August 2024 that she was not happy about Lulu returning to Port Charles, even though she wasn't. Rather, another actress was cast in her role. Yes, it is true, she posted on Instagram. Lulu will be recast by GH. Even though I'm somewhat unhappy with their decision, I'm relieved to have closure at last. Emmy hasn't stated whether she's willing to try another soap opera, such as Days of Our Lives or The Bold and the Beautiful. Her followers undoubtedly miss seeing her on the tiny screen, regardless of the situation. General Hospital News. Emmy Rylan's future plans? Emmy hasn't said anything more about the situation as of yet. As new information becomes available, you will be informed. Stay tuned for more. According to General Hospital spoilers, award-winning writing and acting have been captivating viewers for decades, and the land of Port Charles has been spinning since April 1963. Although the soap opera has a sizable and loyal fan base, viewers can't help but sense that the daytime drama may be about to be cancelled because of some recent events. A terrible choice in casting. Although GH fans are devoted and loyal to the soap opera, they may boycott the daily drama in protest when a favorite leaves. Top star Steve Burton was fired in 2021 due to the COVID-19 vaccination requirement, but the show swiftly made up for it by bringing him back in early 2024 after the rule was repealed. However, GH fans have been complaining about the soap opera's choice to not only fire Monaco but also have her character killed since Kelly Monaco, a great fan favorite, was fired later in 2024. Sam passed away in a way that made her return all but impossible. Jason, her mother, Alexis Davis, and her fiancé Dante Falconeri all said their final goodbyes after her death. Charles Measure quit the soap opera more recently, however it's unclear why. Among fans, he was also a highly favored performance. In addition to Chad Duell's recent departure, there is a possibility that he will return. Disdain for Frank Valentini by fans. Returning to Monaco's departure, supporters have voiced their opinions on social media, with many people uniting behind Kelly. Regretfully, they have targeted Frank Valentini, the executive producer of the soap opera, and GH viewers have expressed their strong desire to have him dismissed, particularly in light of Monaco's depressing performance and the dramatic exit of her character. The writing staff has been wonky. The soap opera underwent significant shift in 2024, particularly in regard to its writing staff. Head writers Patrick Mulcahy and Elizabeth Corte began the year. Mulcahy was away when May struck, so Corte was left to manage the ship alone. Then in August, Corte was joined as co-head writer by Chris Van Etten. Last year, this led to a great deal of wackiness in the plot direction, character personalities, and their interactions with other Port Charles residents. Fans were occasionally bored with the soap opera's general plots, and occasionally perplexed and incensed by the behavior of certain characters. The ratings are down. Yahoo reports that GH's ratings have decreased. Unfortunately, despite the soap opera's amazing run, ABC would have no problem killing it if the ratings weren't there. Will GH experience that though, or will the drama throughout the day be able to save it? Natalia's startling link to Lily Rivera, Sonny's late wife. According to General Hospital spoilers, there is still a lot we don't know about Natalia Rogers Ramirez's past. We do know that she was married at one point, is from Puerto Rico, and has a son and a daughter. Since Natalia has brought up Miguel Morez a few times, we also know that she is acquainted with the Puerto Rican native who has lived in Port Charles. She also appears to be quite knowledgeable about the mob industry. Where does this information originate? Is Natalia related to or a member of a mob family? According to General Hospital's history, the Riveras were the crime bosses in Puerto Rico for a very long period. Is Natalia associated with them in any way? Does Natalia know Lily Rivera, the late wife of Sonny Corinthos, who was a member of their family? A brief history and the relationship between Natalia Rogers Ramirez and the Riveras. Sonny seized control of his area in Puerto Rico shortly after Lily was killed in a car explosion intended for Sonny in 1996. Hernando Rivera, Lily's father, died of a heart attack as a result of the shock of unintentionally killing his own daughter. Born and reared in Puerto Rico, Natalia might know Lily if she knew Miguel. Natalia might have been a classmate, and Lily and Miguel dated when they were younger. It's possible that Hernando and Natalia's father, Mr. Ramirez, were acquaintances, and that her father was employed by Hernando. It's likely that Lily and Natalia were friends growing up. Why is the question being asked when Natalia has been concealing this from Sonny? The reasons behind Natalia Rogers Ramirez's deceit about Lily Rivera. Given their close relationship, it's possible that Lily confided in Natalia about her relationship with Sonny in the past. The stories Natalia heard about Sonny captivated her, and she secretly wished she had what Lily had. Natalia discovered a startling secret one day. Her mother had an affair with her father, Hernando Rivera, but she chose to keep it a secret. In reality, Lily and Natalia are sisters. Natalia was upset by the lies, but she was unable to inform Lily of their true half-sisterhood because she had already passed away. After moving on to other relationships, Natalia was immediately drawn to Sonny and realized who he was right away. She didn't think it was acceptable to tell him about her relationship with Lily though. Because she fell in love with Sonny and fears his wrath for not being honest with her, Natalia has yet to tell him the truth. Meanwhile, the fact that Natalia reminds Sonny of Lily might account for his attraction to her. How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Is Natalia lying about her past in your opinion? Is Natalia related to the Riveras and Lily? Does Sonny's attraction to Natalia stem from the fact that she makes him think of Lily? Carly and Brennan derailed Cyrus strikes, emergency chaos at G. The tension in Port Charles was palpable. A storm brewing on the horizon that no one could have anticipated. Carly Corinthos, the fiery and resilient queen of manipulation, had always been a force to be reckoned with. But even she couldn't have predicted the chaos that was about to unfold. Her recent alliance with Brennan, the enigmatic and morally ambiguous figure, had been a calculated move to protect her family and secure her position in the ever-shifting power dynamics of the city. But as the saying goes, the best-laid plans often go awry. Brennan, a man with his own agenda, had been working closely with Carly to outmaneuver their mutual enemies. Their partnership was built on a fragile foundation of trust and necessity, but it was enough to keep them both afloat, until Cyrus Renaud, the sinister and unpredictable crime lord, decided to strike. Cyrus, who had been lying low since his last defeat, had been biding his time, waiting for the perfect moment to reassert his dominance. And that moment had arrived. The derailment of Carly and Brennan's plans. Carly and Brennan had been working on a high-stakes scheme to take down a rival faction that threatened their interests. The plan was intricate, involving blackmail, secret alliances, and a series of carefully orchestrated moves designed to leave their enemies scrambling. But just as they were about to execute the final phase of their strategy, everything fell apart. It started with a cryptic message delivered to Carly in the dead of night. The note, written in an unfamiliar hand, contained a single sentence: "You've been played." Carly, ever the pragmatist, tried to brush it off as a desperate attempt to rattle her. But deep down, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Brennan, too, began to notice inconsistencies in their plan. Key players who were supposed to be on their side suddenly went silent, and crucial information that should have been secure was leaked to their enemies. It didn't take long for Carly and Brennan to realize that they had been betrayed. But by whom? As they scrambled to salvage their plan, the truth began to emerge. Cyrus Renaud, the master manipulator, had been pulling the strings all along. He had infiltrated their inner circle, planting moles and sowing discord to ensure their downfall. His goal was simple: to destroy Carly and Brennan, two of the biggest thorns in his side, and reclaim his throne as Port Charles's most feared power player. Cyrus strikes back. Cyrus's return to the forefront of Port Charles's criminal underworld sent shockwaves through the city. His methods were ruthless, his tactics unpredictable. He didn't just want to defeat Carly and Brennan. He wanted to humiliate them, to make them suffer for daring to challenge him. The first blow came in the form of a devastating revelation. Cyrus leaked incriminating evidence about Carly's involvement in Brennan's operations, exposing her to public scrutiny and putting her at odds with her loved ones. Sonny Corinthos, Carly's ex-husband and the father of her children, was furious when he discovered the extent of her dealings with Brennan. Their already strained relationship reached a breaking point, leaving Carly isolated and vulnerable. Brennan, too, found himself in Cyrus's crosshairs. The crime lord had uncovered a dark secret from Brennan's past, one that could destroy his reputation and dismantle his empire. Cyrus wasted no time in using this information to his advantage, blackmailing Brennan into submission and forcing him to abandon his alliance with Carly. With their partnership in shambles and their enemies closing in, Carly and Brennan were left with no choice but to go on the defensive. But Cyrus wasn't done yet. He had one final card to play, one that would send shockwaves through Port Charles and plunge General Hospital into chaos. Emergency chaos at GH. General Hospital, the heart of Port Charles, had always been a sanctuary for the city's residents. But on this fateful day, it became the epicenter of Cyrus's wrath. The crime lord, in a calculated move to destabilize his enemies, orchestrated a series of coordinated attacks on the hospital. The chaos began with a bomb threat that forced the evacuation of the entire building. Patients, doctors, and staff were thrown into a state of panic as they rushed to safety. Among them were some of Port Charles's most prominent figures, including Carly's son, Michael Corinthos, and his wife, Willow, who were at the hospital for a routine checkup. As the evacuation unfolded, it became clear that the bomb threat was just the beginning. A group of armed men, loyal to Cyrus, stormed the hospital, taking hostages and demanding that Carly and Brennan turn themselves over. The situation quickly escalated into a full-blown crisis, with the Port Charles Police Department and the FBI scrambling to respond. Carly, desperate to protect her family, tried to negotiate with Cyrus, but he was unmoved. He wanted her to suffer, to feel the same pain and helplessness that he had endured during his time in prison. Brennan, realizing the gravity of the situation, offered to surrender himself in exchange for the hostages' release. But Cyrus, ever the sadist, refused to back down. The chaos at General Hospital reached its peak when one of the hostages, a young nurse, was critically injured during a scuffle with one of Cyrus's men. The incident sparked outrage and galvanized the community to stand up against Cyrus's tyranny. But even as the tide began to turn, the damage had been done. The hospital was in shambles, lives had been lost, and the city was left reeling from the fallout. The aftermath. In the aftermath of the crisis, Port Charles was a city forever changed. Carly, haunted by the events at General Hospital, vowed to take down Cyrus once and for all. But she knew it wouldn't be easy. Cyrus had proven himself to be a formidable adversary, and his reach extended far beyond what anyone had anticipated. Brennan, too, was determined to seek revenge. He had lost everything, his reputation, his empire, and his alliance with Carly, and he blamed Cyrus for it all. But as he plotted his next move, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was playing right into Cyrus's hands. As for Cyrus, he reveled in the chaos he had created. But even he knew that his victory was temporary. Carly and Brennan were down, but not out. And as long as they were still standing, the battle for Port Charles was far from over. The events at General Hospital had left an indelible mark on the city, a reminder of the fragility of life, and the lengths to which people would go to protect what they held dear. For Carly, Brennan, and Cyrus, the stakes had never been higher. And as the dust settled, one thing was clear: the war for Port Charles was just beginning. Character dynamics and emotional depth. Carly's journey throughout this storyline is one of resilience and redemption. Despite her flaws, she is driven by a fierce love for her family and a desire to protect them at all costs. Her alliance with Brennan, while pragmatic, forces her to confront the darker aspects of her own nature. As she grapples with the consequences of her actions, she begins to question whether the ends truly justify the means. Brennan, on the other hand, is a man consumed by ambition and a thirst for power. His partnership with Carly is born out of necessity, but as the story unfolds, he begins to develop a grudging respect for her. However, his past comes back to haunt him, forcing him to confront the choices that have shaped his life. His arc is one of self-discovery and redemption, as he struggles to reconcile his desire for power with his growing sense of morality. Cyrus, the antagonist, is a complex and multifaceted character. His actions are driven by a deep-seated need for control and a desire to punish those who have wronged him. But beneath his ruthless exterior lies a man haunted by his own demons. As the story progresses, we see glimpses of his vulnerability, hinting at the possibility of redemption, or perhaps his ultimate downfall. Themes and motifs. This storyline explores themes of power, betrayal, and the consequences of one's actions. It delves into the complexities of human relationships, highlighting the ways in which love, loyalty, and ambition can both unite and divide us. The chaos at General Hospital serves as a metaphor for the fragility of life and the importance of community in times of crisis. The motif of redemption is also central to the narrative. Each of the main characters is given the opportunity to confront their past and make amends for their mistakes. Whether they choose to embrace this opportunity or succumb to their darker impulses is a question that drives the story forward. Conclusion. Carly and Brennan derailed Cyrus strikes. Emergency chaos at GH is a gripping and emotionally charged storyline that pushes the characters to their limits. It is a tale of love, loss, and the enduring power of the human spirit in the face of adversity. As Carly, Brennan, and Cyrus navigate the treacherous waters of Port Charles, they are forced to confront their own demons and make choices that will shape their destinies forever. In the end, the story is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. And as long as there is hope, the fight for what is right will never truly be over. Nina Reeves had always been a woman of strong convictions and even stronger emotions. She had fought her battles, made her mistakes, and suffered her share of heartbreak. But when it came to her daughter, Willow Tate, she was willing to do whatever it took to ensure her happiness and well-being. However, there was one looming obstacle: Drew Kane. Drew, with his calm demeanor and unwavering sense of integrity, had become a powerful force in Willow's life. His influence was undeniable, and while Nina respected his role as a friend and confidant, she couldn't ignore the subtle ways in which he was steering Willow's perspective, especially where Carly was concerned. Willow had already endured so much, from her cancer battle to the shocking revelation that Nina was her biological mother. Now, as she continued to navigate her complex relationships, Nina found herself facing an unexpected challenge. She needed to protect her bond with Willow, but she couldn't do it alone. That's why she turned to the one person she had long considered an adversary: Carly Spencer. Carly was not an easy woman to persuade. Fiercely independent and deeply loyal to those she loved, she had always been a formidable opponent. Her history with Nina was riddled with betrayal, resentment, and grudging truces. Yet, despite their differences, Nina saw an opportunity. If she could convince Carly that Drew's involvement in Willow's life was detrimental, they might be able to work together, however reluctantly, to ensure that Willow remained free from undue influence. Their meeting took place in Carly's office at the Metro Court, A neutral ground where both women had reason to tread carefully. Carly, always perceptive, eyed Nina with skepticism. "This is a first," she said, arms crossed as she leaned back in her chair. "You coming to me like this? What do you want?" Nina took a steadying breath. She knew she had to tread carefully. "I think we both want the same thing, Carly. Willow's happiness." Carly scoffed, shaking her head. "You think you can just waltz in here and act like we're on the same side? I don't trust you, Nina. And I sure as hell don't think you have Willow's best interests at heart." "I get it," Nina admitted. "I know we have a history and I know I've made mistakes. But this isn't about us, Carly. It's about Drew." Carly's expression hardened. The mention of Drew was enough to put her on the defensive. "What about him?" Nina leaned forward slightly, lowering her voice. "He's influencing Willow. More than you realize." Carly narrowed her eyes. "Influencing her how?" "He's pushing her to be more forgiving, more trusting of people who have hurt her in the past," Nina explained carefully. "That might sound like a good thing, but it's making her vulnerable. You know as well as I do that Willow has been through enough. She doesn't need someone nudging her into relationships that could end up hurting her." Carly sat in silence for a moment, processing Nina's words. There was truth to what she was saying. Drew had always been the type to see the good in people, sometimes to a fault. He believed in redemption and second chances. That was something Carly admired about him. But she also knew it could be dangerous. Still, she wasn't about to jump on Nina's bandwagon just yet. "So let me get this straight," she said, tilting her head. "You want me to help you, what? Push Drew out of Willow's life." "Not push him out," Nina clarified. "Just create some distance. Make Willow see that she needs to make her own choices without Drew constantly in her ear." Carly exhaled sharply, clearly torn. "Why should I trust you?" Nina met her gaze. "Because for once we want the same thing." That was the moment the alliance, however tentative, was formed. Over the next few weeks, Carly and Nina found themselves in an unlikely partnership. It wasn't easy. Their mutual distrust made every interaction tense. But they were both mothers who wanted to protect their children. Carly, despite her reservations, began to see Nina's point. Drew's unwavering faith in people had already led to trouble. His past dealings with Victor Cassadine and his time in prison had been proof of that. If he was encouraging Willow to give people the benefit of the doubt, could he unintentionally be setting her up for more heartache? Together, Nina and Carly began subtly shifting Willow's focus. Nina played the role of the concerned mother, urging Willow to rely more on her own instincts rather than taking advice from others. Carly, on the other hand, used her influence carefully, steering conversations to make Willow question whether she needed so much outside input. Drew, for his part, began to notice the shift. He could sense that Willow was pulling away, and it concerned him. He confronted Carly one evening at the Metro Court, his expression unreadable. "Something's changed," he said. "Willow's been different lately. More guarded. Have you noticed?" Carly hesitated before answering. "She's been through a lot, Drew. Maybe she just needs space." Drew frowned. "Or maybe someone's pushing her to create that space." He didn't say it outright, but Carly knew he was onto something. The question was, would he figure out the unlikely alliance behind it?